Hi, Misha here, and this is one I showed you the parts kit of. That is now a mostly somewhat kind of working semi-auto. We'll get to that. This is a Yugoslavian M56 pistol, quote unquote, chambered for 7.62 25 Tokarev. And this is actually one of two semi-autos I'll be showing you. This one here is from Gun Builds, the gentleman who did the Czech SA-26, SA-24s. Built from our original kit with original barrel. Has a few kind of unique little features of his own. But yeah, is a semi-automatic. Legal conversion. Just came in before the holidays, took it to the range. So yeah, let's look at a few shots and we'll come back to the table to talk a bit more about the history of this gun and the details of it being a semi-auto now. M56, first shots.
Top eject, huh?
M56. 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 Yeah, little one that time. So, pretty good reliability, but we're still work on it. Problem is, you have to kind of get these to work with both modern commercial like PPU and the hotter steel-cased surplus stuff. We're having a little trouble with the extractor grabbing the rim sometimes, but there's a pretty easy fix to that. But that's kind of what happens when you're doing these semi-auto conversion builds. It's a little bit of trial and error, which is part of the fun. If you enjoy that, it's great. If you want stuff to run flawlessly the first time, not the hobby for you. And if this gun looks a little familiar to you, there's a good reason for that. Because it is based on this gun here, the German MP.40. And this is a semi-auto conversion from MK Gun Mods, built from another original kit, and this is chambered for 9mm. Of course, this was developed from the MP38 in Nazi Germany. It's got a barrel about just a hair under 10 inches. Overall length is about 32.5 inches with the stock out, and about 24 inches with the stock in. And it's a heavy guy. It weighs, as I'm holding it here, it's very easy to tell, over 8 pounds. But keep in mind, guys, this was an early submachine gun and one of the first to use stamped steel. It was a lot lighter than a Thompson or a Suomi, which were kind of the preeminent sub guns before that. And it fed from, if I can get it out now, if I can get my finger in, there we go. Kind of unique magazines, and by that I mean not really. They're double stack single feed based on the MP18, MP28, and pretty much what Britain copied when doing the Sten gun. Has this underfolding stock, as you see. This one's pinned closed. 2-position rear sight. It ejects from the top-ish right side. And it has the charging handle on the left side, which also doubles as its safety. Disassembles with the catch here and then rotates off. Has kind of this bar under the barrel to rest it on. threaded muzzle, sight hood, the MP40, also the submachine gun from Wolfenstein. Now, Krvna Zastava in Yugoslavia has often taken weapons and made it their own. They took the MG42 and made their M53 variant. They took the K98 and came up with the M48, M48A. Of course, they took the SKS, made their M59, and so on and so forth, of course, with AKs as well. So for one of their submachine guns, they copied the MP40 for the most part. But because they were a member of the Warsaw Pact, not a member, don't at me there, but they were allied, they were associated with the Warsaw Pact, even if they weren't officially a full member, they went with 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, which had proven very effective out of a submachine gun. The PPS H41 and the PPS 43, probably most famous. So that's the biggest difference, really. The barrel is also just a hair under 10 inches. We're also a little bit longer with the stock out, but amazingly, it doesn't look it, but we're a little bit shorter with it folded in. Now this is a pistol in the way that gun builds chose to do it. They just didn't put the stock on. The lugs there. Yeah, so it would have an underfolding stock. Very similar type handguard, a little bit larger grip. Sling swivels are a little bit different placed. Mag catch is here, and the magazines are curved in a different style. These are unique to this gun. They're not PPSH or PPS, but they're not MP40 either because, well, they're shooting a different cartridge. So that kind of facilitates a whole different magwell. We have the charging handle on the right side. We have a true kind of up top ejection here. We have a 2-position rear sight. This time we have a fire mode selector here. Takedown is rather different on this, somewhat simplified, maybe oversimplified. There's a button you push here, then you undo this cap and then separate the upper and lower. The barrel is kind of different. We do have the sight protector, but the muzzle is not threaded. And we have this here little bayonet lug, which is kind of, I don't know how useful of a feature, but it's there. Here's the bayonet for it. Because what submachine gun does not need a bayonet? Which honestly does make a little sense considering what subguns are often used for, like prisoner guarding and police stuff. So let's get it on there. There we go. Good tight fit. So it's not as kind of wonky as it seems for, again, police or prisoner use or just guard use. Plus it has a psychological benefit. That's not suggestive at all. So you can see where they did their own thing and also followed the general lines of the MP40. Obviously they started making these in 1956. There's not a ton of info out there at all. We know that some of them made it over to Vietnam. Zastava did export them. Also, of course, they were used in Yugoslavia as their just kind of primary submachine gun until the civil wars in the 1990s. They weren't the only submachine gun, Cosmoline guys, but they were pretty much their mostly standard one. And the kits have been available on and off for a number of years. And what's nice is most of the kits came with the front receiver section, including the magwell and the intact barrel. So it made the build quite a bit easier. Of course, to go to a semi-auto, you have to go to a closed bolt. which requires a striker system, which is what he's done here. We have a spring-loaded firing pin in the bolt. Now this here is your striker. Now this is just a little screw he put on. You can just unscrew it. But he did it for second strike. In case, you know, you were firing the military type ammo and you got a click, no bang, you could recock it and try again. I'm not a big fan of dry firing, so yeah. But it's just something there. If you don't want it, you can just unscrew it. But that's just what he did to make sure, because a lot of the military surplus ammo had hard or well-aged primers. Otherwise, it uses the same trigger group as the original, just converted to semi only. The selector switch is now for your safety. Locks are up good. On the military gun, the original, your charging handle could be rotated and pulled in and out to work as a safety, either front or back. But of course that has to be given away when you do the firing pin. But it still takes the same furniture, sling, barrel, bayonet lug, sights, yeah. This one, of course, is on a semi-auto American tube, but the mag well is original. And it actually disassembles very much the same way. Again, not a lot of history to share with these. It was just a submachine gun based on the MP40 that got a little bit around the world. I mean, at least half a dozen nations used it, but primarily Yugoslavia, and after the civil wars it was pretty much out of service. I don't know when they quit making these, but they made them for a while, you know, 60s and whatnot, and I don't really know full production numbers. Again, there's just not a lot to be said about them, which is not uncommon for some of the lesser-known communist bloc guns. But we thought you would just kind of enjoy seeing a pretty unique semi-auto. Again, it needs a little bit of fine-tuning, and I'm excited to see what MK Gun Mods comes up with to kind of put them side by side. It's kind of interesting to compare different methods for doing the same thing. But yeah, we showed you the parts kit a few months ago and thought it was time to show you the firing semi-auto pistol. If you have any questions or comments, please do post them below. And if you like this video, we'd really appreciate it if you would, yeah, this is definitely noticeably heavier. That's one thing I didn't point out. The M56, even though it's a little bit longer, is actually a lot lighter. Yeah, I'd say about 2 pounds lighter. No kidding. It's like 6.5. That's close to 8.5. Sorry. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, we'd appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the link to our Patreon page. This is Misha, and we'll catch you very soon next time.